Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. A great big shout out to my channel members for supporting my channel. Thank you. All right, so this is going to be a very chatty video, so go ahead and get comfortable, get a drink, perhaps put me up in the background as I go through the first month in my Hobonichi A5 Cousin Avec. And it is the first month I've actually ever used it in this fashion. I do have some other Hobonichi products, both a full-on cousin and a cousin Avec, but they are being used as creative or tester journals. And so I've never actually used one as my everyday carry. So I tested it out this month, and I certainly have thought. So this is my A5 Hobonichi one-piece logbook. I did purchase this from Hobonichi. From what I can tell, they're showing their new releases on August 23rd. You can start purchasing items on September 1st, and then the One Piece opens on October 1st. I will definitely be purchasing One Piece items. I love One Piece, and I probably will be doing two orders, one on September 1st and then one on October 1st. October just for the One Piece items because they have a separate release date, and then just the bulk of my other things on September 1st. I have been saving all year because I knew I'd be purchasing Hobonichi products, and so yeah, I'm very excited about that. It opens like this. I rarely change any of this. In fact, none of this has changed since I had set this up. I've added a few things, like I did pick up a new metal ruler, and then there's some other things tucked in here, and then of course this is a new system that I started out as of July. I had purchased the 2024 A5 Cousin Avec system when I had done the rest of my order, because I had thought that I would use both of the books for creative journaling, and it really was because I was ordering anyway, and the price is really good on the Hobonichi site, even when you factor in shipping, that I'd have two notebooks because I knew the full-on year cousin was just too big and heavy, especially if I was going to be adding things to it. It wasn't until the latter part of June that I thought, I want to incorporate more things into my dailies during work because I have them in separate systems, but because of how everything's been going with work, I just haven't been doing them. It's very rare these days that I sit down at my desk after my work schedule and actually do anything by way of journaling, by way of coloring. And so if I incorporate it into my day where I take a few minutes in the morning and then perhaps right after I eat lunch or during one of the endless meetings I seem to be being in, then I feel like I'm giving myself a little bit of self-care through the day that I won't give myself after the work day is done. Because after that, I'm just trying to mentally decompress and just relax until the next day happens. And I've been working 9-10 hour days during the work week, and then at least one day most weekends. As we gear up to start, it might actually be Saturday and Sunday. Today is Sunday, August 4th. I am taking the full day, but we'll see how the next few weekends go, because as my to-do list just gets longer and longer, I run out of hours. And it's not so much of an issue because I'm not doing my work. It's just we are still short-staffed. When I took on the manager position, I took on even more tasks, and it's just a lot going on. So it's been a tough few months, and this whole overtime thing has been going on since I think February of 2023. I think the latter part of this year, if it doesn't go away altogether, it definitely will be reduced, and hopefully I can get into a more manageable schedule. That's kind of where I was coming into with this right here. And again, I had it already, so might as well use it. I do like to keep my things pristine, so I do have a cover on this. I could have gone full on and decorated this. I didn't mind the blue. I actually don't so much mind the yellow that's in the first half of the year. Whether I cover it up for next year, again, remains to be seen. I had this self-care card, and it resonates with me. And it's something that I have to really remind myself of, because I can be a full-on worrywart as much as possible, but if things are truly out of my hands, worrying about them doesn't make it go any faster or happen any smoother or go in a different way than I'm anticipating. It's just, I need to let it go. And so that's why I put that here. And I do see that every time I open my one piece cover, and I liked having the reminder. Unlike in previous renditions, like with my Hobonichi weeks, I did not go as full on with this as I did with that one, because it was the latter part of June, probably in the last few days of June, that I set this up. And I really just wanted to just go in and concentrate on the weeklies and then figure out what I was going to do with the dailies. This is a postcard. Well, it's not even a postcard. It's a set, I think, of like 24 cards, 4x6, that you can use for wall deco. But because I have an anime journal, which I've never actually had the time to start, I wanted some 4x6 cards to add into it. So I just have this washi taped in, and then I have some others that I can use if this gets boring or if I just get tired of looking at it. For this here, I use this as a period tracker. So I did bring in the last 2 years worth of information, and then I update the information as it goes along for this year. For next year, I'll import the last 2 years of information and then use 2025 to kind of mark. And that's just all this is for me. I don't track anything else here. I am in my early 50s, and I'm probably premenopausal. Maybe in menopause. I don't know. I don't ask about such things. So I do like to keep track of when I am having my period, because I know if I ever go to the doctor, and luckily enough, or funnily enough, or unfortunately enough, because I'm having some issues, I do have an appointment on the 7th. So I definitely will need to have this information when I go, because they always ask. For these pages here, I did not need them. I don't do any forward planning, and if there's something that comes up in a future month or even in the upcoming year, I just put it on the office calendar, because I look at that anytime I'm on the computer, and right now that's at least 5 days a week. Sometimes it's 7 days, and so if there's something on my radar, then it'll be there. And even with my doctor's appointments, I get texts and phone calls, so it's not like I'm going to forget. So I decided to just use this as more writing space. And so during a meeting, when I was setting this up, I just looked at my zodiac for Leo and Rat. So this is, I never know what to call it. Is it Greek? Is it Roman? It's just, I'm a Leo in that zodiac. And then for the Chinese or Asian zodiac, I'm a Rat. And then during another meeting that I had, I looked up Leo and Rat for August, and I plan to do that for the rest of the month, because again, it's not a space that I'm going to be using. I don't track birthdays or holidays or paydays on here, because again, I know when the paydays are, I know when the birthdays are for the people related to me or in my circle, and holidays will actually go into either the weekly or to the daily. And I always know when the holidays happen. In fact, I think October is the only month that does not have a holiday. And with the upcoming months, I'm definitely taking a week or maybe even 2 off in October, because I'm going to need it. Now for this is for more future planning. It's January through June of 2025. Again, didn't need July through December, so certainly don't need this. And so again, during a meeting, I just looked up some fun facts about the month. I just Google it. I put some washi up here just to cover it up, and because I have it. And then down here is actually the Tombow color that I'll be using in the daily pages. And these are just stamps that I have, and I just use this to color the stamp. I have found that very useful, because it's easier for me to have Tombows where I'm at than to have inks into places, because I'm not always doing this here. I mean, all my inks are here. I don't want to have to purchase inks and take them to the office. Now, I actually have several Tombows, maybe a good 10 or 12 Tombows at work that are duplicates of ones that I have here. So the colors that you'll see may not correspond with the colors of the month that Hobonichi has. It's the colors I have in both places, so I'm always covered by way of pens. Yeah, I know, kind of fussy, but whatever, it works for me. This is, I think, June of 2024, because I believe it gives you a month before and a month prior. No, is that the right word? It gives you a month leading into July through December, and then it gives you January to kind of have a place to do whatever people do for monthlies. I don't generally use these, and so I actually had stuck this down. I don't know if you can see it. There's a whole bunch of bubbling because I didn't put it down nicely, and it's all one huge piece, and so that was just an error on my part. But rather than get super fussed about it, I just looked up a quote about imperfection and just owned it. I added, this is a tip-in of some kind of heavyweight vellum, and then why I started the Hobonichi Avec as sort of a test to see if it was going to hit those things that I wanted to do and incorporate that I wasn't incorporating after work. Now, this has been quite informative for me because in my Hobonichi weeks, again, I had used it religiously for the last 2.5 years. I never really used this. I would mark down the crack of the vault, and then I would list down when I would want to put my videos up on YouTube. Generally, it was Wednesday and Saturday, but even that wasn't always very consistent. The busier I get at work, the less I can do for my channel, because my channel is a hobby of mine. Although it does generate some income, it is very minimal. In fact, because I have not been doing a lot of focus on my channel, it's like every 3 months that I get paid. You only get paid after you've made $100 worth of ad revenue or just revenue on YouTube, and so that gives you an idea of how much I'm earning on a monthly basis, and that's fine. I mean, again, it's a hobby of mine. I know things I could do to make my channel more successful, but it would take time that I just don't have to devote to it. And so what I decided to do with this instead was give me a landing spot of all of the meetings and webinars that I have been attending. And I only attend webinars if they are on a subject matter that is impactful to me. And as you can see, for the month of July alone, between meetings and webinars, I was in nearly 30 hours of that. That's nearly a full work week. Now, it's not surprising to me. A lot of the meetings that I'm in, it's with either in the functional area of the department that I work in or the overall reaching area. So that's already like 4 meetings a week. And then there's meetings with other stakeholders on campus, and it's been interesting this month, because again, it's August 4th. It's pretty light on it, but considering the number of holidays and vacation days, that's startling. Now, when I'm in meetings, depending on the kind of meeting it is, sometimes I'm just listening and working on other things like student accounts or whatnot. Sometimes I'm in here, and then sometimes I actually am actively listening and participating. So I'm hoping there's not going to be months like this, but having it not just where I could see it visually, but actually counting out how many hours of meetings it was quite interesting to me. I've put in the meetings I have thus far, and as you can see, it's pretty light. I might have a ton here because I'm on a hiring committee for another department, and I think there's some here and then some here that we might be doing. I'll have to check my calendar the next time on. But right now, because we are gearing towards the start of the fall semester, which starts here, I think the various departments are trying to have as minimal meetings as possible, which is good. I'm tracking the overtime hours for both me and my colleague, because I do have approval rights on his, just because I need to make sure that we're keeping within the numbers that we're approved for the month. I've only marked future months with Crack the Vault. That is a collab hosted by Poet Spice, just because it gives me an idea of when I need to have something posted, because other than my Saturday video right now, that's the only one I'm striving to do. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Again, it's not a job, but if I can, I really like to participate. And I actually already filmed the one for August. I just need to edit and schedule it out. But I really had fun with that one, so be on the lookout for that. And again, I will write in here with my meetings and webinars as it comes to that month. And again, I just take the information from my office calendar. And I have been enjoying writing in blue in here. I think because I do have this Pilot Juice pen. My friend Annette or Luann had recommended this pen. I'm not a fan of this particular body. It feels, I don't want to say it feels cheap, but it feels kind of flimsy. But I did pick up another Pilot Juice pen, this one right here, and I certainly like this one better, the feel of it. The ink is actually perfect in either one of these, but I like the feel of this pen body more than I like it in this one. All right, so I had to do some slight editing there because we had someone knocking, someone soliciting for something. But that's my monthly section, and I have found that useful. Now, as you can see, no stickers, no washi. It's just pen and highlighters, either my Tombow or more often than not, my mild liners. This is January, like I mentioned, January 2025. So I did some oracle pulls, and basically while I was shuffling, because I have two different oracle decks, I was shuffling it and I thought, okay, what's the theme for the rest of the year? And so I was just thinking, what's the theme, what's the theme, what's the theme? Shuffled the cards, pulled a card, and that's what I got. And as I was writing that, I was thinking about what that said. Again, another vellum tip-in. And then from my other oracle deck, I was thinking, what's the story so far? Where have I come from, or what's been going on in 2024? As I was reading about this, I wrote that down and thought about that. Now, I don't generally do this sort of thematic thing, but I noticed when I was looking at Hobonichi of things I wanted to transfer over into here, I actually really liked reading what I pulled in the beginning of the year. And because I wasn't using this space anyway, I thought, well, let's do it for the rest of the year, and it'll be interesting for me to look at when I'm working on my setup for next year. Again, just a snapshot in time. For these weeklies, I've already done a video just giving a recap of my thoughts on this, and I love the visual of this. I love the functionality of this. And so that's what really, after the second week, I already knew, no, this is the system I'm going to use. And I can make this as functional or as decorative as I want right now, and probably through at least the end of September. I definitely need more function over deco, although a little bit of deco on a page just makes it exciting and happy for me to open up, and because it's usually off to the side, either here at home or when I'm in the office, and I just really love looking at this. And I don't even need a lot, just a little does me fine. And what has to be on here is the completed tasks. I've been keeping track of the pens that I've been using just because I can. I keep track of the lunches I film and eat during the work week, during scheduled work days. I do my daily tarot pull. If I don't pull one, I signify I didn't forget it. I didn't do it. And then for a while, like this first week, I was doing a quote and a word of the week, and then that's switched up as well. Ultimately, this is just paper, and so if need be, I can switch things out, I can move things around. Later in the year, when I'm not so task heavy, I'm actually going to go back and play with some different layouts in my weekly section, just because I can. These lines are not so dark that if I go a horizontal or go a dashboard, that it's going to be too distracting for me. Because once I put the pen down, you wouldn't be able to see it anywhere. At least my brain is happy enough to ignore it. I did put these tabs here. These are just the same tabs I have at the bottom where I wrote it down, just because it's easier for me to flip through the section. I did not like when I had tested that out on the latter part of my 2023 Hobonichi, but I do like it here, which is weird because I don't think the Hobonichi Weeks is not that much shorter. But for whatever reason, I just thought it was way too busy on the one that I tested out. I actually will be doing a recap of the last 2.5 years in my weeks in another video, and I'll show you what I mean by that. But I like it here, and again, it's just one of those pull-off tabs, and I really like it because it makes it easy for me to get to the various sections. And then week over week, it's basically very pen driven, just a little bit of deco. And I love seeing it. I love seeing writing on a page. I love seeing the various products that I'm using. And it makes me happy to look at. And even on the days that I'm not working, I can fill it in. I could leave it blank. I could signify there was nothing to write. And as I mentioned in that other video, that doesn't mean that I didn't have anything to think about or anything to say. I just had nothing to write. End of story. But I like making it so that it doesn't look like I forgot or that it was intentionally left blank, that it has a purpose, if even the purpose is to signify there was nothing to do. I don't know why my brain likes it that way, but my brain likes it that way. This is the week that we just finished. Again, a very, very heavy task week for me. It's going to be like that. I actually did like having the tarot on the side here. I loved a little bit of deco here. This happened when I was pulling the sticker off the sheet. Some of the color kind of cracked off. I'm not sure. It's kind of frosty, so maybe that's why. So it's sad because that was a really pretty sticker, but whatever. I've got my word of the day, and I was doing a word of the week because that's the space I had, but my friend Loretta does a word of the day, and I thought, I'm going to do that too, because I have this space here. I did work some hours yesterday, and then because I had this space and I was actually in that kind of headspace, I pulled an oracle card just to think about what should I be thinking about for this upcoming week. I don't do it all the time. I don't need to do it all the time, but I had the space, and that was just kind of the mindset that I was in. This is the week we're coming into again. I think this is the third time I've said it. It's currently Sunday, October 4th, and I've got space here that's open that is not earmarked for anything in particular. So it can be if I run out of space here for overtime or for whatever. I do have a post-it note that I can move from week to week depending on how much of this I get done. I was originally writing it as notes on the page, and for the most part I can remember all of this stuff, but this gives me more of a priority list of my to-do list versus just having a full-on to-do list, because if I did that, I probably would need an entire page in the back just to have all of the laundry list things that are on my plate for this week, the upcoming weeks, the upcoming months. So this just makes it a little bit more manageable for me. Like I mentioned in that other video, I did set up last week, this week, and the next week just to get a test out of different layouts, because as you can see, I pushed Monday so that it starts here, so that again my stickers are not all in the same place. I have a spot to put the lunch for the tarot pull and the word of the day. Again, these are open spaces. And then this is my layout for next week. Again, testing things out again. I still have all of the things by way of completed tasks, tarot pull, where I put my lunch, word of the day, and open spaces, but it is configured differently. And so it does give me some flexibility. I do actually have a video on 9 different ways you can use the weekly section. I'll probably link that in the cards towards the ending of the video, but this works the best for me now because a vertical list is the way that my brain functions best. I can work with a horizontal, but I would still just do multiple lists in a horizontal fashion. So for right now, this works the best for me. And I don't have anything set up for the 19th on. I'll probably do that this weekend because I did confirm that August 16th is a holiday for me here in Hawaii, although I'll probably be doing quite a bit of overtime hours then. So that's it for the weekly. And then for the dailies, this open page right here is where I am putting my monthly budget. That is the only downfall that I find with this, is there are some note pages in the back, but it's not enough for me to do a page or two for my monthly budget, because I also write notes and whatnot. It's not information that I share, so that's why it's covered up. Otherwise, this is actually off of it. So that pen of the month comes into play in my dailies. So for July, I use this Tombow 526 because again, I have this here and at work. And for the first couple of days, I had gotten this inspiration from someone I had seen on YouTube, where they kind of separate it and they do like some things here and some things here, because my biggest concern when I was switching over to this was there's a day a page. Nope. There's a page a day. And I don't lead a very exciting life. I mean, it's not Groundhog Day, but it's very close. And so I'm like, well, what am I going to write about? And so I thought, okay, well, just write as if I were doing my highlight reel. And in 2023, that's what I would do. I'd have a page back in the notes section where every day I would just write a few keywords or phrases that reminded me that, again, I'm not living an endless loop of Groundhog Day, that my days are slightly different. Maybe not exciting. I'm a homebody and most of my energy and focus goes towards work, but they are different. And so it just takes that and makes it into a bigger fashion, so that if I want to do something in one of my other journals that gives sort of like a doodle collage of the week, I actually have information that I can put down. And so you'll see in these first few days, I had that line, which there's a line on the page already, and I just made it darker. The only consistency between the pages in July is that on every single page, there's some version of this. And I did remember that these work really well on my stamps, and so I just have a variety of stamps that either I carry with me or just tucked away in the closet in front of me. I color it, stamp it down, Bob's your uncle. So again, you can see that here. Yes, I did write down a deodorant that I had just bought. For whatever reason, for the last few months, I've been smelling really sour. I don't know why. I haven't changed anything in my diet. I'm not diabetic. I wear deodorant multiple times a day, but I was smelling sour and I didn't like it. So I finally picked that up. TMI, you're welcome. And it works a treat. So yay, no more sour Johanna. I mean, I'm still grumpy, but at least I don't smell grumpy. And so every day I just come in here and I have no rules. It doesn't matter what I write. It doesn't matter what I do. It's just, okay, a little bit of a snapshot of that day. And I have to tell you, I have been loving it. When I had my Hobonichi weeks in the past, the first year I had it was a mega, and there was a ton of pages, but there's not enough for every day. So I didn't want to force myself to journal, which is a strange concept considering I've been journaling every day. But for some reason, when I'm doing it on this daily, it's not trying to capture happy memories or pleasant memories or, highlight that I have an exciting and busy life. I have a busy life. I have a very frustrating life. Well, no, that's actually not true. Frustrating by way of I have so much things on my plate, but I'm also very blessed. I'm very aware of that. But this has just been, okay, what has made today different from yesterday? And if there's nothing I have to write, well, just put a stamp down. Who cares? It's mine. There's no rules. There's no test. I'm not going to get judged on this. And so here, again, the only spots I used that pen was here and here, but I still used it. I was playing around with some fountain pen inks. Really had fun that day. I don't use a lot of stickers in this section, but I had 2 more stickers on a sticker sheet, actually 2 big ones and then these little tiny ones, and so I just cleaned it up right here. There's a lot of food related things in here, and there's a lot of I'm over it, I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired in here as well. But that's how I'm feeling. That's what's on my mind on a daily basis. This one right here I really like because it really conveys what was going on. By the end of that work day, I felt almost foggy in my brain. I was just so mentally and emotionally exhausted. It was just a rough day. And then I just came in with some stamps that I had, again, colored it in. The skull and crossbones here was just really because I was just dead. And again, still super tired. And just going through every day and just, do I have a lot to write? Do I have a little bit of write? Do I want to put stuff down? And it was just really, it's really nice having a place just to put whatever I want. And I don't have any rules on how this should look like. And so if I don't have a lot to write, well, okay, these were some things that made today different. A little bit of journaling. This is my very most favorite stamp that I own. Hands down. Bought it at a little craft fair that was on campus one year. Here, these were the highlights of the day, and then just a little bit about that. This was another rough couple of days. I was overwhelmed, I was overworked, and I was over it. And so I found a doodle online of someone who was just overwhelmed, and I tried to put that down to the best of my ability. A little bit of text, and it's enough. It's enough for me. I mean, there might have been other things going on that day, but that was the focus of that day. Tired and brain dead. Again, you're going to see a lot of that as the next few weeks and months progress. And I mean, that's my life right now. So, I mean, if I'm not going to be honest here, where am I going to be honest? This here was one of the layouts I liked the best. I do have some stamps that I had picked up from Jet Pens. And so what I did was I put down the stamps first, knowing what I wanted to write about. And then all of these little sections kind of play into what it is that the stamps convey. And I really thought that was a way to use the page, not get so overwhelmed by the space of it, and also just put down what it is that I did for that particular day. Again, so much to do and annoyed, and whatever empty space I had, just put down a stamp. No fuss, no problem. This one right here, again, lists of things that I did that day, a little bit of writing, and then a sticker. This is also, I think, another great way to use these pages. These are actually the highlights of the day, and then just a little bit of text to go with it to kind of explain what this is. Now, I can actually read this and know exactly what this means, but I may not remember that 2 weeks from now or 2 years from now, and it makes a nice visual. And then adding a sticker down, and again, that's all I need for this page. I really love the impact of that. And just in case you're wondering, both of these are animes, and both of these are available on Netflix, not sponsored or affiliated. This one is actually a rewatch for me. I think I have a few more episodes to go, and then I'll have finished it, I think, for the 3rd time. This was a new watch for me. It is a anime on golfing. It's interesting. My brother has taken up golfing, and when he talks to me about it, I can understand a little bit more because of this anime. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, I like sports anime. But that was that day. Vacation and happy birthday. I spent most of that just relaxing, and so there wasn't actually a lot going on in here, and honestly, there didn't need to be. I did discover some mafia books by Neva Altaj on Kindle. I believe they're Kindle Unlimited books that, oh my goodness, I think there's like 10 books. I loved them all. I loved some more than most. They were all at least 4-star reads for me. Some of them were 5-star reads, and I am definitely going to reread these again. In fact, the next time on the computer, I might look at purchasing them because, or the ones I got my 5 stars, because I loved the story. They're mafia stories, and oh my God, loved them. Back to work, I had gotten my jet pens order, and these were some stamps I had bought under BOGO. I actually was not feeling well. I wasn't feeling well as of the latter part of my birthday. I woke up with a headache, and that just didn't go away. I got through what I needed to for work, and then I just took the rest of the afternoon off. Like I said, I got my Sticky Club order in. It was mostly buying some stamps, and so these were 4 of the 6 that I purchased, and I think they're so cute. I love this bird right here. So cute to me. And again, just coloring in with my pen. So if it doesn't give the greatest, not outline, but image, that's fine. It conveys what I want it to convey. And this actually was a sticker that was on the packaging. This was the first day I was in the office that week after my birthday, and I'll insert a picture here where my coworkers had filled my office with balloons, and it was fun and it was super sweet, but it was really annoying. I told them it took me 20 minutes to try to get balloons out of my office so I could actually sit down and start my work day. And there's another day I'll show you where I kind of dealt with some of that, but I couldn't find a balloon stamp in my arsenal. And so this was just a circle stamp or a circle stencil that I had. So this is actually Distress ink. And then I just added lines here to kind of signify balloons. And this just reminds me of, it took me 20 minutes to get to my chair trying to herd out balloons. If you've never tried to herd out balloons, I don't recommend it. It wasn't fun, but it was such an awesome gesture. And I knew that they had done it the day before because they told me. And just the thought of both of my coworkers blowing up a bunch of balloons, some of them full of confetti, just to give me a smile and a laugh. It makes me happy that they were just thinking about me. Or they hate me. I'm not really sure. Saturday, I think I worked that day. Yeah, so I worked until 3:30. I never actually made it to clean the bathroom that day. I did do it on the Sunday, laundry, and then I made dinner. I was having issues and continue to have issues with my arm, or actually my arms and my shoulders, because I'm writing and typing so much because of work. It's just taking its toll. Zero motivation. And it's funny because I'm right-handed, so my brain always goes to this page to start writing. But I mixed up the 2 days. So this is actually Friday the 26th. This is Saturday the 27th. And so I had to signify that, yeah, I made a mistake. These are the other 2 stamps I had bought during that BOGO sale at Sticky Club. And again, really love them. No. These 2 are the 2 stamps. This one I had gotten from, I think, Jet Pens. It was one of the sets that I have. So yeah, these are the 2 stamps I bought from Sticky Club. And so I have this stamp. It's actually, I think, Paris, London, Italy with the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and maybe Egypt with a pyramid. There's 4 locations. And so I was flipping through my stamps. I'm like, oh, good. The Summer Olympics actually started on Friday the 26th, at least with the opening ceremonies, although I think there were some games earlier in the week. And so I wrote some things down about something else, and then I wrote Summer Olympics, and then when I finished, and I'm like, wait, that doesn't look right. And it's not, because I'm missing the M. But I mean, I could pretend and cover that up with some other paper and then write it again. I'm like, no, I mean, it is what it is, right? Again, this is not for a test. I'm not trying to impress anyone. This is just me writing something down and then highlighting, hey, you misspelled it. Who cares? This is probably the most sticker and washi heavy so far, but I was playing around with some of my stuff. And I thought, why not? This finished out the month. So this is the 30th and the 31st. This is when I got another Jet Pens order. They come with a little cartoon in your invoice. And so I just put that down. It was a really, really really busy day for me. So it was just one of those days, again, tired and over it. And I like this because I think this a lot most mornings, that I'm already tired tomorrow. And again, changing things up on how I put things down. And again, just some ephemera and some stickers. As you can see from the month, I don't use a lot of it, but I have it, so if I feel like it, I'll put it down. I'm not trying to restrict myself, but this already is heavy, and then with everything I have in that case, it's heavy. And then I've actually already started August, and so I'll be working on my budget for the first half of the month in a few days. Again, just going to cover that up. And the system at work was down for 5 hours on Thursday the 1st, and so the Wi-Fi was working, and we had access to our shared drive, so I could work on things, but the actual student files and whatnot was inaccessible. And so it actually was a very nice breather, and it was a really good food day. Ordered in 4th Street Cafe, which is a local Thai Vietnamese place they have downtown. We just Grubhubbed it. Some other co-workers did a Starbucks run, so they picked up some stuff for us, and then for dinner went to Zippy's, which is another local eatery, and they have really good spaghetti. There were some things wrong with my order, so I called, and they're gonna send me some coupons, they said. But yeah, it was a good day in that had a little bit of a breather, got some other things I needed to get done. It was a little stressful because it was 5 hours that I had planned on working on student files, but I mean, again, if it's out of your hands, it should be out of your mind, right? I always have to refer to that. This is another layout that I really like. I am having issues with both my legs and my arms. I do have a doctor's appointment for that. And I don't know what made me think about it, but I looked up some anime phrases and words, and this is used a lot in anime, which is kyotsukete, which means take care or be safe. This is a stamp from my arsenal, and again, the pen of this month is 379 because it will change on a monthly basis. So the only consistency between the pages is there will be something with this, whether it's writing, whether it's a stamp, a combination thereof. I did have this as an offshoot of a washi tape roll, and so I just put this down. This is actually just one strip right here. Did a little bit of journaling, and I've actually already started journaling for today. I was playing Monopoly Go earlier. I'll definitely play Monopoly Go later on today. And this made me laugh so hard because it says slept in pigs in a blanket. Now, as a byline, that kind of gives you some imagery, which is hilarious to me, but they're actually two different things. That's not a descriptor of me sleeping in. That is, I slept in the morning, and then when I woke up, I made some pigs in a blanket. So I wrote that down here. The reason I had this Lamy pen out is because that's the pen that I used. This is actually a combination. I mixed some inks because I had some test samples, and there weren't enough to fill just in those samples, so I just mixed them all together. It is a nib that's a little thicker than I like, but I don't mind it so much in the journaling spot. As you can tell, I'm filming, and so we're doing the July flip through. I want to do a comparison of my weeks versus my Avec. I wasn't sure if I spelled that correctly, but again, who cares? And then if I'm still feeling like talking, then I'll do a July birthday haul, as well as a flip through of my Hobonichi weeks throughout the years. And then the only other thing I have in here is in the back with the notes pages. Again, there's only a few. This is where I've tested out my various fountain pens and the various inks in those fountain pens. And then back here, I have my pencil board, and then I have these as blotter sheets because this and the pens that I use can be juicy, and so I just have this when I write down, and then I've got some stickers and some of those 4x6 cards there just in case I want to swap it out. And yeah, that is my flip through for July and the first part of August. again, I am really enjoying this system. I'm enjoying the functionality, but I'm also enjoying the freedom. And I had that in my weeks. I can always make whatever system that I'm using work because ultimately it's just paper. I can do what I want. But I think having the bigger space has definitely helped me just be a little bit creative in a day where I'm not doing a lot of creative journaling or coloring because my work is consuming so much of my energy. So this just hits enough of that creativity for me where I feel like I'm still getting it in on a daily basis, but it's not so much or so overwhelming or, more importantly, so taxing on my body because my work is already doing that. I'd love to know what you guys think so far. Do you guys use a system like this? And how do you use your monthly and daily pages? I'd love to know in the comment section below. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.